OK. Bonjour tout le monde.
Hello,
Ce
everyone.
matin, je me suis
This morning, I spoke with my G7 counterparts. G7 countries are the largest democratic economies in the world. We discussed the barbarous and dreadful attack by Russia on Ukraine, on democracy, and on the rules-based international order.
We're also joined by Ukraine's Minister of Finance, Serhiy Marchenko, whose country is so bravely resisting the brutality of a tyrant. Minister Marchenko joined us from a windowless room. We could see a Spartan cot behind him and a blue and yellow flag taped to the wall. He looked tired, but he was determined. He thanked us for our support, assured us that Ukraine would win, and asked us to continue ratcheting up the pressure on Russia. Les ministres de G7
G7 ministers have set out the coordinated and devastating sanctions that we have imposed on the Russian economy. These include measures directly targeting the Russian Central Bank, which is President Vladimir Putin's war chest. The sanctions we have put in place are the most serious and stringent ever imposed on a major economy. By working together in close cooperation with President Zelensky's government, we will go even further in the coming days. Our new measures will continue targeting the institutions and individuals assisting President Putin and enabling him to continue doing what he's doing. They will choke off his ability to fund his war.
And on this point, we are resolute because as the G7, Canada, Germany, France, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States, we understand the stakes of this great conflict between democracy and dictatorship. The battleground today is Ukraine, but this is our fight too. President Putin has made a grave and historic error. This is not the behavior of a superpower. This is the last gasp of a failing kleptocracy. And President Putin has now become an international pariah. The free world is united in our conviction that his brutal assault on democracy, on the rules-based international order, and on the people of Ukraine cannot be allowed to succeed. And we are united in our support for brave Ukraine. Slava Ukraini. And now I turn over the floor to my colleague, our Minister of International Development, Minister Sajan. Harj, please.
Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister. Today we continue to show that the world stands shoulder to shoulder with our Ukrainian friends in the face of Vladimir Putin's naked territorial aggression. There can be no doubt that Vladimir Putin's unjustifiable invasion of Ukraine will live in infamy amongst the dictators and autocrats from the 20th century. The decisions we make today and over the coming weeks and months will not only determine how we are remembered by history, but they will fundamentally shape the world for our children and our grandchildren. I had the privilege to attend President Zelensky's inauguration, and I think of the words from his speech. He said, "I really do not want my pictures in your offices, for the president is not an icon, an idol, or a portrait. Hang your kids' photos instead, and look at them each time you are making a decision." Now, in the last week, I can't stop thinking about the impact of this unjustifiable aggression that has had on his children and the children of Ukraine, whose lives have been thrown into chaos. Classrooms have been replaced by bomb shelters. Playgrounds have become battlefields. Beds have become the hard ground. It is why, as Canadians, we have and will continue to step up to show that we will stand on the right side of history. It is why today I announced at the United Nations humanitarian flash appeal and the regional refugee response plan for Ukraine that Canada will be supporting this appeal by providing $100 million Canadian for humanitarian assistance for the people of Ukraine and those who have been forced to flee to neighboring countries. This funding will support life-saving services such as shelter, water, sanitation, as well as food assistance. We will continue to be there with our Ukrainian friends and partners during this difficult time. Slava Ukraini, merci beaucoup. Thank you. Now I'll pass it over to Minister Anand.
Thank you so much, Harj. Good afternoon. Like many Canadians, I woke up this morning to more disturbing images of what is happening in Ukraine right now. In particular, the bombardment of residential areas, killing families and children in Kharkiv, and a massive column of Russian tanks approaching Kyiv. To know that civilians, children, and families' lives are being taken is even more horrific. It is important for Canadians, and indeed the world, to pay close attention to what is unfolding right now. At the same time, I want Canadians to know that we are leaving no stone unturned to help our friends in Ukraine by way of support, including military support. It
is important for Canadians and the whole world to pay very particular attention to what is happening at the moment. At the same time, I want Canadians to know that we are not sparing any effort to help our friends in Ukraine through military support.
That we are providing. I think about it in three tranches. Tranche one. In the last few weeks, we announced approximately $10 million worth of lethal and non-lethal aid, ranging from sniper rifles, carbines, pistols, body armor, and 1.5 million rounds of ammunition, all of which arrived on or before February 22nd. Tranche 2. Le 27 février.
On February 27th, we announced that we would provide assistance, additional non-lethal assistance in the amount of $25 million, specifically protective goggles, helmets, bulletproof vests, and gas masks.
February 28th, yesterday, we confirmed that we will send even more lethal aid to our friends in Ukraine in the form of 100 Carl Gustav anti-armor weapons systems, as well as related accessories and scopes, and 2,000 rounds of 84mm ammunition to go with them. Transit. On February 27th, we also approved additional airlift support in the form of CC-130s and up to 50 CAF, Canadian Armed Forces personnel, who will offer the transportation of goods and personnel in support of the Government of Canada and NATO efforts writ large in Europe. The first such flight left for Europe yesterday, and the second is leaving today. All of this to say is that we have and we will continue to support Ukraine. And to this end, today, I am confirming that in addition to the 3 tranches of bilateral support that I outlined above, the remainder of which we are working to deliver as quickly as possible, Canada will also be providing 1,600 fragmentation vests and just under 400,000 individual meal packs to our friends in Ukraine. These are items that have been requested and that we are providing. Afin de soutenir davantage.
In order to provide more support to Ukraine, today I confirm that in addition to those 3 tranches of support, we are also delivering the rest of the assistance as quickly as possible. Canada will also provide 1,600 bulletproof vests and almost 400,000 individual meals to our friends in Ukraine.
It is absolutely shocking to see Putin use the military equipment that Russia has at its disposal to kill innocent people. And it is important to recognize that all of the countries that stand with Ukraine and that are participating in this effort, Canada included, have much to bring to the table in terms of supplies and support and fortitude. We will keep working hard for the people of Ukraine and for the sovereignty of Ukraine in coordination with our NATO allies. Savla Ukraini. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.